United States, the construct of racism was created specifically to oppress black people, to try to suppress our determination to achieve liberation. Like Angela Davis said, it's built into the system.
Nowadays I can't believe what's going on in front of me. I don't want to watch TV and find another casualty. I don't want to read the news. My heart's already black and blue. I'm putting on my combat boots, cause I got an attitude. We're like soldiers forced to fight a war. What the hell? I can't take it anymore. Cause for so long we've been patient, now we're done. Don't you even ask me when did I become such an angry black woman.
I keep it real. What dear?
Cause I keeps it real like that. I keeps it real.
Okay. the name of our ancestors, peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what I call the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the gatekeeper or the host of this program, known here on social media, wherever you may find me. I am known as the mighty Angel Snub 7. I am your soul brother, number one. Hold on a second here. I would first like to apologize for beginning this broadcast a little late, I guess 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I thank you so much for being patient. I have some medical issues I must deal with and some outside issues beyond my control that I must keep an eye on because I don't want my property damaged. So if my property is damaged, I will see them for sure. Also take pictures. I know who done it. So have to take care of it. Hold on a minute. All right, I think everything is settled. Everything is over. And I don't want to keep you long. I just wanted to make a comment and get out of here real quick. So okay. Yeah. So let us begin. The topic that we chosen for this afternoon, all Nat Turner wanted was freedom. That's all Nat Turner wanted was freedom. We're going to talk about that real quick. There are a lot of you who hold Nat Turner to a very high regard. Then there are those of you who believe that Nat Turner did not even exist. However, whether you believe he was a real historical character or whether he was a fictional character, we want to talk about this person, this persona, the characteristics, the behavior of this person called Malcolm X. How you doing there, twin? Twin Mimi, get up. Those in the chat room. You say that I'm looking healthier. Looks are deceiving. Believe me, looks are deceiving. But I have been feeling way better than I did a few months ago. And I just had another procedure done yesterday. And so far, everything is normal. So it seems to be going good. And again, this process, I don't expect to end. I really won't have no real definite, what's the word I'm looking for? I really won't have no definition of where I stand, maybe to April, May, even June. By that time, I know exactly what's happening. So it's still a long road ahead. Now, there is a label that I use here on this platform, this channel, and I call us, and I use the identity soul brothers and sisters. And there are those who say they don't like that. I'm an African. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm a this, I'm a that. They don't like that word. They don't like that. Soul. What's that? What's a soul people? What you talking about, Willis? Now, I grew up in it. And there are many of you my age who grew up in it, and you act like you don't know. The late 1950s till the I would believe the mid 1990s, we use that word, soul brothers and sisters. And we make reference to our food, our cuisine, our culture as that of soul. And when you had black power, you also had soul power. They both was together, except black power was an emotional reaction to white power. Soul power was just us embellishing our uniqueness. And during the time when soul was embraced, even the Caucasians, people all over the world, they wanted soul. I want to be a soul person. Soul was only relegated and it was only defined to these who were born in America, the descendants of slaves, the once called Negro. It belonged to us. When you said black, black can be an African, black can be Jamaican, black can be whoever. But when you talk about soul brothers and sisters, there's only one person, only one people that you can associate that with. And that's why I like it. I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to be in the same group. It was something that we called ourselves. Matter of fact, it might have came from the white man too. Because as you know, soul is in relation to scriptures and Bible and all that stuff. But we turned it into something more than something spiritual. It was the uniqueness and the originality and the behavior of a people that describe us and only us. The descendants of slaves born in America, the once called Negro. That's who it was in reference to. Now, there are many who have problems with that, and they say they love their ancestors, but our ancestors is the one, not Angel Snuffing Up 7. This was going on before I was born. I want to say that again. This was going on before I was born. They was calling each other soul brothers and sisters. I remember when I was a little boy. An older brother said, "Hey man, give me 5 on the black hand side. In the hole. Brother, you got soul." And I do that to little children, our babies right now. And they just smile and find joy in it. That's you. You a soul man. There was a song by Sam and Dave. I'm a soul man. Dun, 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 dun. James Brown was soul brother number 1. Aretha Franklin was the queen of soul. What is it then? What are these useless titles that didn't mean nothing? The group in vogue was in the 90s, the Funky Divas of Soul. What the hell is it? Why are you claiming something that does not mean nothing? Well, for at least 30 years that I know of, the late 50s, 60s, early 90s, close to 40 years, we didn't have a problem with it. But now you got a problem with being a soul brother. I also understand that it might have something to do with our origins coming from native people. It could be many reasons, but all I know, that's what was going on, and it was acceptable for at least 40 years until they kept pushing black, until they kept pushing African to keep you caught up in this race garbage, to keep you sick in your mind, your melanin and your hair and your big lips. Be black and I'm proud. What's this, brother? This brother Neely Fuller Jr. I see why they don't like him. They know about Neely Fuller Jr. Neely Fuller Jr. is way before my time. He says, why do you care? You black. So what? That's like a bird bragging, I got feathers. That's just who you are. Why you got to be proud? Why do a bird have to be proud? I got feathers. I got feathers. That's just what you are. We don't have to run around here all day, 24 hours a day, talk about I'm black and I'm proud. Of course, you have no choice. That's what you are. But when you're dealing with racism, you put in these categories, now you got to define yourself because they white and I'm proud because I'm white. Well, I'm black. See, I got black feathers. I got white feathers. Now you got to define yourself because now you become trapped in racism, and racism is the reason why, and white supremacy is the reason why you are in the condition that you're in. How are you going to be able to take yourself up out of that condition? By using the methods and the behaviors and the mindset of the condition that put you in this situation to begin with. Neely Fuller Jr. is telling us, if you don't understand racism, let me quote him exactly. If you do not understand white supremacy, racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only continue to confuse you. And all of us out here in YouTube land, you see nothing but confusion. You do not see unity. You do not see love. You see jealousy, hatred, envy, and the usual crap that went on the slave plantation that kept the slaves divided, the fear that kept the slaves on the slave plantation. That's what you see. And they are talking Pan-African, they are talking black, they are talking Hebrew Israelite, they are talking all these things, and they still on the plantation. They can't get off. That's why I want to talk about Nat Turner, because Nat Turner wanted to get off the slave plantation. And you want to stay. I know some of you, I want liberation. I want to get out of here. No, you don't. No, you don't. Well, I want to go back to Africa. The only thing you're doing going back to Africa is going to another slave plantation. You're not going to run nothing. After, well, going on 500 years, being in this situation 500 years, I do not want to be under the foot of another person, whether my rulership is screwed up or whether it's excellent. I do not want to be under the rule of somebody else. Just like when it's time for you to leave your mother and father's home, there's no guarantee that your family gonna be perfect. You can raise a drug addict, a murderer, a pedophile, or whoever, but you want to go out. You want to leave your father's house. You want to leave your mother's house because you want to be who you are. I want to run my household. You live with mommy and daddy long enough. This is my rules. And when mommy and daddy come to your house, they have to abide by how you run your household, like you did when you had to submit to them in their house when you was a child. How can you call yourself a man and want to continue to live under the domination of another man that clearly don't like you, that don't give you justice? You make no laws, you make no policy, you're just here. If he wants you to go to the left, there you go. If he wants you to go to the right, there you go. Why you want, what kind of, like Hassan Campbell said, what kind of man? What kind of man? You can't be a real man. So I don't want to hear this stuff. These guys, brothers talk about how much of a man. You live with racists. You're not a man. As long as you live here under the domination of racists or undercover racists or whatever, these people who do not give you justice, you're not a man. You don't control them. How many laws do you make that they obey? How many of them have you sent to prison for the rest of their life? You don't have no, how many of them have you murdered and got away with it? Because of the justice system. Because you live in somebody else's house. When you live in somebody else's house, as you know, you have to play by their rules. When you was with your mother and your father, you had to play by their rules, unless you punk them. And very few parents gonna let you punk them. Now, some parents do get punked. My mama would have blew me away with a shotgun before I punked her. You got to find somewhere else to live, boy. You don't run nothing here. So don't none of you so-called men come to me talking about, I'm a man. No, you're not. We're not men as long as you are living under the domination of another man. You do not produce food, clothing, and shelter for yourself. You're not a man. We're not men. So I don't want to hear it. And we have not been men. Matter of fact, we don't have no idea what that is, because the only thing we ever known was slavery. But going back to that identity of soul, you don't like that. I don't want that. But you talk about your ancestors. That's where it come from. It did not come from Angel Snuffing Up 7. James Brown was the godfather of soul way before I came on the scene. Aretha Franklin, we had soul food, soul music, and whatever else that was related to the culture of soul, way before Angel Snuffing Up 7 came on the scene. Your ancestors, our ancestors, matter of fact, many of them are living right now. Some of you lived it just like I did. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with being who we are? That does not mean that you reject these other things. My family came from Africa. I'm a Native American. That does not mean that. That means this is my house. I'm embracing my uniqueness. During that 40-year period, people all over the world want to have some soul. They like the way we walk. Brothers don't even walk the way you walk like you're a savage now. Brothers had a certain swag. Sisters was attracted by a brother just by the way he walked. He got something about that uniqueness. And every brother had his own swag, his own kind of walk, his own type of talking. Everybody didn't want to be like everybody else. Everybody, man, ain't nobody like Brother Johnson. Ain't nobody like Get Up, Stand Up. Ain't nobody like Twin. Ain't nobody like Mimi. We was the same people coming from the same place, but everybody wanted to do their own thing. I didn't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to wear the same jacket as you are. People would get a jacket. How you doing that, soul brother? 85. Everybody want to do, we could get the same jacket, but a lot of brothers and sisters, they have to put their own definition on that. They have to move things around and put buttons somewhere else. Now we are a bunch of zombies and robots. Everybody want to look the same, say the same, do the same thing. That's why so many people was attracted to soul brothers and sisters, because we was different. And when you heard Aretha Franklin sing and James Brown, and you watched the Jackson 5 and you saw us on the stage or on the football field, no matter what we done, we did it different. We just can't dribble a basketball. We got to put some finesse in that and twist it around and flip it. Rub it down like BBD used to say. Touch it, flip it, rub it down. Oh no. You got to do that type of thing. It just cannot be ordinary. You got to take something and make it your own. They say, soul brothers and sisters, the white folks used to look at us, our people, and they said to themselves, We beat these people. We humiliate them. We rape them. We murder them. We do all kinds of evil to these people for hundreds of years. And they smile. They marry us. They kiss us. They love us. How is that possible? Because from where we come from, even though it comes from a horrible place, we just don't have it. We have a connection to life, and that's what the soul is, life to the body. And we don't have time to dwell on hatred like that. There are many of you talk, I hate the white man. Not really. Not really, because if you really hated the white man, you probably wouldn't be here right now. You'd be in a morgue somewhere. Because your hatred would be on the level, you got to go out and kill and murder somebody. But you don't have hatred like that. You just want justice. You just want freedom, justice, and equality. You don't have time to hate like that. That's not what soul people are about. We had enough of that during slavery. I hear what you say out of your mouth. You're not like that. Because if you was like that, your actions would prove it. And your actions don't. Your actions don't prove that you hate the white man. Now your actions do prove you hate soul brothers and sisters, because you will murder me. You will come to my house, even though you know I'm sick, and shoot me in the head, slander my name, and whatever. You would do that. You will do that. And that's a negative for soul brothers and sisters. That's a negative for soul brothers and sisters. We have to understand that, and we have to work around that. We have to understand, why do we have this hatred? There's a reason for it, because of where we come from. So here we are in this country, and we don't like soul brothers and sisters. But everybody else around this planet, everybody else around this planet wants to be you, but you trying to be them. There's a reason why they want to be you and us. I want to say this about soul and go ahead and make my commentary on the main topic here. Now, I was watching. Hold on a second. Let me see. This is not working the way I want it. Okay, come on now. What's wrong here? Okay. Okay, I think I got it now. Okay, I got it. Now, y'all know I love these ladies here. I was watching something called the Black Music Honors or something to that effect.
Okay. Can you hear me, brother?
I'm talking. I think I was yeah, I hear you. I think I was watching something called the Black Music Honors. I believe that's what it was. I'm not really sure. And the Black Music Honors was giving a tribute to these ladies here, the Funky Divas of Soul in Vogue. And they did not appear live on the broadcast. They were just giving honor. just homage to their legacy in music. And these young ladies, and I'm not going to take anything away from the young ladies. They was good. They was good. What was the name of that? June Diaries or something like that. I believe that's what they was called. June Diaries. June Diaries. They did a rendition of the various hits of En Vogue. And I listened to those sisters. And like I say, the sisters, the young ladies was talented. And I might be a little biased. I might be a little prejudiced because, you know, I like the original, the sisters here. I like En Vogue. But over the years, I've noticed nobody make reference to us and our uniqueness anymore. They don't make reference to our originality anymore. And when I see these rappers and I heard these sisters sing, see, the thing about soul is back in the day, it was coming from your heart. It was coming from something way, I don't care if it was a fast song, a love song, or whatever it was. When that person sung that song, it come from the heart. You could see a house that brothers built, and you could feel the pride and the energy that was put into the workmanship. That's why all those mansions that was built by slaves, you can see they still stand today because those brothers, they put their heart and their soul, even though it's for massa and they wasn't getting paid, but that's just who and what they was. So I listened to these sisters and I heard them sing Hold On, and they sung Never Gonna Get It and Free Your Mind and the classics that these sisters made famous. I heard these songs. And I didn't feel it coming from them. It's just like they just going through the motions. See, we have black liberators, revolutionaries, and then you have those who just act. You have those who just act. It's not really coming from the heart because you don't put money, you don't put certain things over your liberation. There's nothing more important than your liberation, being free. That's why I want to talk about Nat Turner. Because Nat Turner was real about his, whether he was a fictional character or whether he wasn't real. So again, I'm not taking nothing from our new generations, but we have allowed our soul to be destroyed. We've sold our soul to devils. That's what we have done. For a basketball contract, for a rap contract, for whatever it is, governor of the state or whatever it is, we sold our soul out. So you want to be all these different things, but nobody want to be who you are anymore. You don't hear people striving, I want to be like those Negroes in America. The last thing they want to be about you is some rap music. And they don't even really, after Tupac and Biggie and all that, those people, they was living during the time of soul also. You don't hear them want to be like these folks. You don't hear them because no matter what we used to do, we used to put our heart and soul into things. And we don't do that no more. Now, we just go through the motions. We sold ourselves out because the only thing we want is some money. See, a singer will sing whether I get paid or not, because I just love to sing. That's who I am. I'm going to build a house whether I get paid or not, because that's what I love to do. It's just part of me. We've lost our soul. So what's wrong with Angel Snubbing Up 7 coming before the people and tell us that we need to get our life back? That's our soul. Many of you will say that we mentally dead. Well, if you're mentally dead, what's wrong with bringing some soul back to the body? If our freedom, so-called freedom fighters and revolutionaries, those who claim they speak up for us, why do we remain in the same condition year after year? Why our condition is not changing? What's wrong with being a soul brother and sister? What's wrong with being unique? I want you to break it down definition-wise. And speaking of that, I have received not one email from nobody that want to debate Angel Snuff 7 on nothing. Except the faceless people, you need to debate so-and-so. You need to debate. Tell them if they are not banned, send me an email. And let's get crack-a-lacking. None. Now, why don't you do it? See, that's another thing. They want to see a debate for their entertainment because these people are not really interested in liberation. They want to see a debate. They want me to be their entertainment and the person that I debate go back and forth so they can be entertained, get some peanuts and popcorn and soda. That's what it's all about. It's not real. Nat Turner was real. And you saw what they did to Nat Turner. We're going to talk about Nat Turner. We're going to talk about Nat Turner. But I'm a soul man. And I'm proud of it. I don't care. I am not ashamed of being a descendant of slave. I don't have to have connection to Egypt or Timbuktu or whatever. I'm proud in soul brothers and sisters, and some of my ancestors are living right now, soul brothers and sisters. I'm proud of their legacy and what they was able to do and accomplish, considering living in a hellhole. All right, let me let Invo go. See you later. I wish I could put them in my screen, but I'm too cheap to buy the upgrade of StreamYard. I could put them in the background. So we got our soul brother Taalik just joined us. Take him off mute. Come on. Can you hear me, brother Taalik? Can you take yourself off mute? It's on mute. Well, it's froze up. Anyway, let's keep this train rolling. Let me say this, and we're gonna get out of here. There was something called COINTELPRO in the 1960s. Okay, I just want to let them know that you
hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. There was something
Can you hear me?
called. Yeah, I hear you. You can hear us, right? Okay.
Yeah.
There was something called
COINTELPRO. I just did.
Yeah.
I just did.
Okay.
Oh man. Here you go.
So
oh boy.
Absolutely.
Oh boy.
There was something called COINTELPRO that J. Edgar Hoover implemented, the FBI implemented during the 1960s. And I'm pretty sure many of you are familiar with COINTELPRO. And to my knowledge, it was not us. It was him in those files, COINTELPRO, talking about he had fear of the rise of a black messiah. I don't think that
you
came
can hear
from
me
us.
now?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh man.
And look like he having technical
Let me
difficulties.
say something. You heard that?
Yeah, I hear you. We hear you. So I don't think that it came from us. I mean, correct me if I'm in error. I believe that it came from those FBI files, somebody talking about the rise of a black messiah. It came from J. Edgar Hoover. It did not come from us. But once we learned about it, then we began to embrace that concept. Yeah, the rise of a black messiah. So, you know, they were scared of Malcolm. Somebody that would come to electrify the masses to revolt against the white man. Now, the sad thing about COINTELPRO is they used your envy, your jealousy, your selfishness, your arrogance, all these things against you. They really did not do anything. They just used your behaviors against yourself to destroy yourself. That's all they did. You was greedy. They brought in an FBI agent or whatever, and they just fed you what you already was. You was jealous of so-and-so. They just fed you what you already was. COINTELPRO, and I know a lot of these folks want to get angry, COINTELPRO did not bring the civil rights movement down. They brought themselves down because they could not control your anger, your jealousy, your envy, your greed, your want for money and material things. They knew all these things. And you brought yourself down. There's nothing they could do that could stop you. And they know it. There's nothing they could do. You are an American citizen. You just didn't know what to do. You just out here crying and emotional and not really thinking about your situation. But they know your situation because there's nothing wrong with them. They know that you just came out of slavery for what, less than 100 years. And you just emotional, crying. Why are you treating me like that? I want my rights. You didn't know. They didn't know. Dr. King didn't know. Malcolm didn't know. Nobody didn't know. Nobody. So they talking about the rise of a black messiah. Well, you destroyed yourself. And how can I make that? How can I come to that conclusion that they destroyed themselves? I can come to that conclusion because you're doing it right now. You jealous, you envious, you selfish, you're arrogant. Nobody can tell you a damn thing. You're not open to new strategies, new way of looking. You're the same thing. The same way they was way back. But now, the FBI don't have to do nothing. You are on self. You self-propelled. They don't have to do nothing. The CIA don't have to do nothing. FBI, nobody don't have to do nothing. You just do it naturally yourself. Jealous, nasty, envious, greedy, money hungry, booty hungry, and the list goes on and on. Because you're not real like Nat Turner. And you have no soul. So I understand why you don't want to be a soul person. You want to be an African or black Indian or Muslim or whatever it is. I know why you don't want to be a soul brother and sister, because you have no soul. You're greedy, arrogant, selfish, self-centered, nasty, profane. You have no soul. You're lifeless. You're still mentally dead. So when you tell me, I ain't no soul, brother, that's fine with me, because I know you mentally dead. You have no soul. You're soulless, just like the slave master and his children. And all thing you want is for me and Twin and Get Up and Soul Brother and those and all of us. You want us on your slave plantation, and we ain't going. And we ain't going. So now when you talk about this Messiah that's supposed to rise up among the people and electrify the people, do you know how many times that's supposed to happen? There's many brothers and some sisters who have risen up to prominence, becoming famous and electrify the masses. Why are we still in the same condition that we're in? Explain that to me. Still in the same condition. Also, just because a Messiah is risen, don't mean that you're going to accept them. How do you know Angel Snuffing Up 7 is not your Messiah? But I'm like Jesus. I come unto my own, and my own receive me not. Jesus the Christ was called the Messiah, but his people did not receive him. You call a lot of folks the Messiah, but they're famous, and we know about them. And that some of the people did receive them. But Angel Snuffing Up 7, you receive me not 1,000%. So just because there's a Messiah that's supposed to be risen among the people, don't mean you're going to accept them or not. Especially when they don't represent your ideology and your beliefs. You don't want nothing to do with them. Well, he ain't talking about Jesus. He ain't talking about Allah. He ain't talking about Kemet. This is why many of you like Neely Fuller Jr., but you really don't want to talk about him because he's not into all that African, Pan-African, black first and whatever. He's simply like Nat Turner, giving you the way to understand your situation so you can get off the plantation. That's all. And see, that's all Nat Turner wanted. That's all Nat Turner wanted. Let's talk about Nat Turner real quick. I said all that to say, and really going to say very little about Nat Turner because there's nothing really to say, except according to the story of Nat Turner, is that Nat Turner was real about his. Nat Turner just wanted to be free. Our topic is all Nat Turner wanted was freedom. That's all. Do y'all know what that is? All Nat Turner wanted was freedom. That's all Nat Turner wanted.
Okay.
Nat Turner you did not hear in the story. I read the Nat Turner story myself. I saw a movie about Nat Turner and a few documentaries. I don't remember Nat Turner talk about, well, before I get my freedom, I'm gonna be a Moor. Before I get my freedom, I want to be an African. Before I get my freedom, I want to be a Hebrew Israelite. Nat Turner did not mention these things at all. The only thing that was on Nat Turner's mind was, I want freedom. That's all I want. Simple freedom. He did not mention Nat Turner was a Christian. You did not hear in the biography of Nat Turner where he was running around trying to convert people to Christianity. His thing was, we in a situation, I want out of here. That's all that was on Nat Turner's mind. We'll deal with the rest once we get free. Do you understand? As long as you live with these races, as long as you don't have your own land, you don't produce your own food, shelter, and clothes, you don't do nothing for yourself, it don't make no difference what you call yourself. You can call yourself Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc? It don't make no difference what you call yourself. Because when it's all said and done, the dominant society, as Tariq Nasheed always say, they are the ones who gonna tell you when it's all said and done. They gonna tell you who and what you are, because they run it. You're not a man. You're not a woman. You don't produce food, clothing, and shelter. You don't do a damn thing for yourself. So you can be Kemetic, you can be a black Muslim, you can be a Hebrew Israelite, you can be a Moor, you can be Donald Duck, anything that you want, but when it's all said and done, it don't make no difference. It don't make no difference. Because when you live in his house, where he dominates, you're going to live by his rule. And when he, look, woo, the only reason why you call yourself a Moor, the only reason why you call yourself an African, the only reason why you call yourself a black native, whatever, is because the white man gave you permission. You didn't do it. You didn't do it during slavery time. You didn't do it in 1865. You didn't do it in 1775. You didn't do it in the 1930s. I don't believe. No, he wasn't. Because he gave you permission. Oh, let him see, because he know that you're confused. Oh, they let him. Oh, see, if you was thinking where, if you had identity where it was acceptable by all the people, then there might be a problem. But see, when you Kemetic and you a Moor and you a Hebrew and we got all these labels, that's confusion, and they don't mind us being confused. So that's good. That's good. But again, it don't make no difference what you call yourself, as long as you live under the house and the domination of another man. When it's all said and done, they gonna tell you who you are, because you're gonna have to submit to their legal papers. And you're not gonna put none of that stuff on those legal papers. They're gonna say, what the hell is this crap? We don't recognize. We don't recognize. Well, I'm part of the nation of Islam. What nation is that? Who's the king? Who's the ruler? When did you become sovereign? I'm a Moor. I'm sovereign. So where your nation at? Well, all these questions, you're not. So on this platform, I am like Nat Turner. All I want is freedom, justice, and equality. All I want is freedom, justice, and equality. I don't need all this other stuff. I don't want to be a Muslim. I don't want to be a Moor. I don't want to be a Hebrew Israelite. I just want to get off the plantation. Because if you don't get off the plantation, all these other things don't mean nothing anyway. It don't mean nothing. So it's just some feel-good rhetoric. I'm a Muslim. I'm a king of the universe. I'm God of the universe and all this other stuff. That don't mean nothing. No, you're a Negro Kemetic slave. You're a Moor Science Temple slave. You're a Hebrew Israelite slave, and the list goes on and on. You don't produce nothing on your own. And that's just the reality of it. And people don't like Angel Snuff number 7 is because I'm just gonna have to keep it real. I just keep it real here. I'm not into that making you feel good. When you earn something, I will give it to you. You don't earn it, I'm not gonna give it to you. You're not a king. You have no kingdom. You're not a queen. You have no kingdom. You're not a god and goddess. You have no power. I'm not gonna give you credit and you have not earned it. And stop telling people I'm just like Nat Turner. You're nothing like Nat Turner. You're nothing like Malcolm X. You're nothing like these people you talk about. You enjoy your central air, your central heat, and how you live, and your degrees on the wall, and all these different things. You're a comfortable Negro slave. You don't have the soul of a revolutionary. Matter of fact, you don't have a soul at all. And you said that because you said, I'm not a soul man. So you have no soul at all. You just acting. You just a zombie. Because a zombie is dead. It just act like it's alive. Oh, I will say that again. A zombie is dead. It just acts. It just goes through the motions like it's alive, but it's not. If you think it's butter, but it's not, maybe it's chiffon. And on that note, I wanted to say that real quick. And I just want to let y'all know that Soul Brother Talib is on the panel, and we have a sister on the panel too, just joined us, Sister Deity. And I normally don't do this, but I'm gonna have to let our soul brother Taalik speak because he's been out there hanging for a while. And the sister Deity want to add on. I don't know how long if she listened to the broadcast. I did send her a message letting her know what the topic was. But go ahead, brother Taalik. Go ahead and say what you got to say, bro. You hear me? Oh, I think he's having technical difficulty. Taalik. He's having technical difficulties for some reason. I don't know. Okay. I'll just call him and get him on speakerphone probably. That never fails. Sister Deity.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, there he is.
Can I be heard?
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
I hear you, but do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Do you hear? Yep. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Do you hear me now? Do you hear me now? Hey, all right, listen, okay, I just want to say, first of all, thanks for inviting me on this panel today, of course, and first of all, I want to take a moment to, say that I am sorry for the loss of soul brother Bobby Brown Sr.'s son, Bobby Brown Jr. And he was a soul brother in that music industry. Speaking of those in the music industry, he was a soul brother. And I frequented places that he frequented in Atlanta back at
I'm gonna call him and get him on speakerphone. Sister Deity.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? I don't know why we always have problem with Brother Taalik. I don't know that area wherever he stay at. It really sucks. It really do.
So thank you for inviting me on and reaching out to me. So yeah, as far as the I think like every Black person who spoke out for Black people had to die before they were recognized by the very same people that they were speaking out for. And sadly, they were killed off by the very same people, regardless of who was behind it. The person that did it looked like them, was of their race. So you just have to kind of understand what comes with it. I mean, and you genuinely have to have a passion for what it is that you're talking about. Because if you don't have a passion for this, if you're not genuine about it, then it's just not something that you're going to do or want to do. And not only that, you have to also be mindful of the people that you're dealing with. You can't think of it as an individual thing because you'll get burnt out on it. So it has to be something that, it might sound selfish, but you have to be in it for self first. And then by understanding and recognizing what part of yourself resonates with another group, with the group of people that resonates with you, then you'll be able to understand that it's not about them or you in particular. It's about self-preservation, really. And so yeah, I mean, and then you won't be so quick to say to hell with it when a person of your race does something or says something that you don't like. Unfortunately, that can actually burn you out. That can actually take away your passion. But like I said, most of these people don't want to acknowledge you until you are deceased. And as you can see, most of the people that get acknowledged are dead. And they talk about these people in a high regard and they show a lot of reverence for these people. But when they're living, they don't get that same support. So it has a lot to do with jealousy. It has a lot to do with fear. It has a lot to do with the lack of trust in self. If you don't believe that you yourself can get free and make something happen, then you're not going to trust that somebody that looks like you can do that. And then also, like, a lot of Black people, they believe in the wrong things and the wrong people. And when those people let them down, they get tired. They get, so it's like, damn, I thought we were going to make some changes, and then it doesn't happen. And then it's like they get discouraged. And so that slave gene runs deep in a lot of people, and that causes these people to be discouraged. I do want to give you a little pushback, though. I do believe that there are people that have that Nat Turner spirit, because I mean, the spirit don't die. It doesn't die. I think that people just have to be mindful of how they move and understanding that clearly what Nat Turner did and Malcolm X did, it didn't change anything. For real. So you just got to kind of be, mindful of how you move in the current situation.
You remember we was talking yesterday?
The day before yesterday, I think.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the correction. Ain't nothing wrong with that either, because you're right. It was the day before yesterday, because I was out of it yesterday. I mean, I had
or it could have been 2 days prior, but yeah,
it was probably a little longer than that. Yeah, but last time we had spoke, we was talking about ourselves, and we was talking about especially in relation to this Messiah thing, about people coming up out of another people, to help raise them out of the oppression and blah blah blah. And some of us are just naturally that way. And I feel as though that's just, even though it was the Nation of Islam teaching that really got me to going, it was just something that, the struggle was just something I was attracted to just anyway.
Right.
It was just something, I don't know, just something about it. I wanted to, when I was a child, I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to write movies and commercials, and that was my thing. Be entertainment. That was my thing. But for some reason, when I heard about what was going on, Jim Crow and the horrors of the South, because I was raised in Mississippi. And matter of fact, I didn't even know what slavery was until my white teacher told me. My mother, father, grandparents, nobody told me about no slavery. They did not tell me about Jim Crow or none of that stuff. The first time I heard these things was my white teacher. And then, I was introduced to Nation of Islam teachers, and I read all that Nation of Islam literature. But when I first heard it, I'm like, that's horrible. It made me mad as hell. It did. It made me mad as hell. Not at my, but it didn't make me mad at my white teacher, because I guess because she told me what was going on. But the situation that we was in, I was really, really angry and upset. And the sad thing about it, now that I'm older, I'm like, how was I as a little boy angry at the oppression that was going on in the South? When I've learned about it, my mama didn't look like she was ever upset. My daddy, grandfather, they didn't seem like they was upset about nothing. I was like,
yeah,
all this going on. See, this is the thing about it too. Even in the case of Nat Turner, if you notice, and we talked about this too earlier, Nat Turner only drew a small little follow. The majority of the slaves ignored it. They didn't care. And just like here, when you look at, even though, we also talked about this earlier too, even though these people on YouTube, they full of bull doo-doo and blah, 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 it's still just a very small minority of us speaking on these issues. The mass majority, they just want to live their slave life in peace. That's all they want to do. They're not interested. They're not interested in being a man. I want to make laws and policy. I want to do my own thing. They're not interested. They fine happily. They just upset. Don't kill me as much, sir. Can I have a few more crumbs? That's all they're interested. And as long as you don't blow their brains out, instead of killing 20 of us every year, make it 18. They'll be happy. And give me some more hush puppies with my fish. That's all they care about. They're not interested in liberation. They're not. They're not. Only thing they do is they'll cry a little bit, get upset a little bit. But basically, like, I can use my own family for an example. I'm the only one in my whole family that talk the way that I do. Nobody else really is interested. They just want to live the comfortable slave. They don't want nothing. They don't want to be leader. They want to be followers. They don't want to do their own. Now, personally, in their own private lives, this is my house. You go to one of their house, this is my house. I pay the bill. But us as a people, we don't think that way. We think like children as a group or a people. We don't mind somebody else paying the bills and running things. We don't mind. But in our own personal house, we want to brag. That's why these men get so upset when I defend the sisters, because that's the only time they get a chance to feel like a man. Because in their house, they can tell their wife what to do and children what to do, and tell the dog what to do. That's the only place that they can feel like a man, at home. And when it's all said and done, the white man control you, your home, your children, everything. They don't want no more. They don't want no more. We got Brother Taalik. He's on the speakerphone. Brother Taalik, you want to add to the conversation?
Yes, I wish I could see my face on the stream, y'all.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like you said, there's something wrong here in Nebraska.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was gonna go on and say that I would like to take a moment of silence and wish peace to Bobby Brown, because his son Bobby Brown Jr. just passed away. And I think I hit myself in and out. But anyway, like I was gonna say that Bobby Brown went through a whole lot. Me and him come from similar circumstances, because I stayed in Atlanta around the same time he did, when he was more popular as an entertainer. And I remember I frequented certain places that he did, and a couple of dark places which I don't care to speak about. Okay, and so it was what it was, and like Willie D, who did a tribute video for his son, said that people need to get off his back, especially judging him for his past, because I know what it is to be judged over my past.
Right.
And I don't like that, and I got emotional. And usually on social media, or nevertheless, I don't get tripped over other people's situation. But however, I kind of got a little emotional about this. And I even texted a comment under that video about that, because I just hate when people judge you when they got skeletons in their damn closet. And which they need to be worried about. But nevertheless, I hope that brother get through it. because he just lost his wife and his daughter.
Right.
Now he done lost his son, and that's too much on him. Because, you know, the brother, them, you know what I'm saying, came back from a rut that he was in, of course, from the lifestyle that he did live. But there's no reason, you know, like Willie D said, let the man walk in peace. While he's still breathing. You know, he needs that closure. Like a whole lot of us need that closure that done been through some stuff. You know, so, and he was a soul brother when it came to being an entertainer. I mean, you know, because he come from my era, which was the closest things to somebody like the Temptations or Delphonics. You know, so like I said, you know, he I mean, that brother deserved to be left the hell alone. You know what I'm saying? And nobody has a right to judge him. Now, on this topic dealing with the Nat Turner situation, I would like to say that I'm glad that at least, even though it ain't changed much for the 44 plus million of us here in America, dealing with this slavery situation altogether, of course, but I could say that this year I did play a part. And I also, when I voted, I also voted to put an end to the enforced prison labor here in this state. And the votes overturned where they could, you know, force prisoners in this state to work. So prisoners here in the state of Nebraska do not have to be forced to work if they don't want to. And in order for them now to get them to work, they're going to have to pay them some real money. And they need to do that in every state throughout the union. People need to get together and put up a referendum in every state across the country to vote. So they can stop this privatizing prisons, which is also a part of the prison slavery industry. You see what I'm saying? And of course, you know that 13th Amendment in the 14th Constitution definitely applies to that today. They said if they couldn't keep us in slavery, the other way that they did, that was one way they could keep us in slavery. So that's something important that I felt I had to bring up as far as this topic was concerned. Now, when we get in the position to take control of a state like Mississippi, we could definitely put an end to the slave labor that goes on in that state's prison system, of course. And by the way, Parchment, I don't know if you know about Parchment, brother, but I know a brother here from Mississippi that knows a lot about Parchment. And he said that, and which I had already knew, but they said that was also once a slave plantation, like Angola and Louisiana was. And I'm talking about the Angola State Prison in Louisiana. So those were both slave plantations, and they're actively now state prisons in both states. And of course, the majority of the population is dark-skinned people, so inmates in those prisons, of course. And see, this is just a circulation or repeating of history, a recycling of history that people don't understand that keeps going on in this country when it even comes to the issue of slavery, period. You know, and we need to understand and realize that we are still in an enslaved society, whether we want to realize it or not. You commit a crime, go to prisons, especially in the South, and see if you're not still a slave. No, excuse my expression, but nigga, you gonna work. And if you don't, we got a way to deal with that. We gonna throw you in the hole, which is another word for administrative segregation. We gonna throw you in the box, and we gonna put you in there for a minute until you think about it, and then we gonna give you a chance to think about it. And if you don't, we gonna come in there and whoop on your butt.
Mm-hmm.
And we gonna keep coming in there and whoop on your butt until you think about it. You see what I'm saying? You even tell, even like when I did time in Georgia, if you told one of the correction officers you wasn't gonna work, well, they had something for you. They had some cornbread fed, Negroes and crackers, who was a part of that, administration, which was known as the CERT team, a name they got off that TV show, the CERT team,
Mm-hmm.
They come up in there and drag you up out your dormitory cell, beat you down, throw you in the hole, and then go back and talk to you later and say, now, do you want to come out and work, or do you want to get the same pain brought on you like we just did, So, I mean, it ain't no game.
Mm-hmm.
Slavery is still real in this country.
Mm-hmm.
This is not no, and people don't understand. They got legal ways of making sure that it stay in place. And ain't nothing you, your mama, or daddy could do about it, especially when you locked up behind them prison walls. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, you got to understand that you are still in slavery. When you got that, just like when the overseer was on the horse, had that rifle aimed at you, making sure you didn't run off. When you was picking, when our ancestors was picking that cotton and sugar cane,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's the same way they got it now with a guard that's on the horse. You understand? Or standing around holding his rifle in case you try to run or escape. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I say, it's the same recycled repetition of history. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize or understand this. It's not about, just like they use that criminal justice thing as a front, talking about, that's a way of punishing. We just punish him. No, why don't you teach them something? Help reform them. So they won't get back out in the streets and be worse than criminals.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? That ain't no way you gonna reform somebody. You ain't gonna do nothing but make them more bitter. And when they come out, they gonna take it out on who? Those closest to them, those in the same community with them, who look like them. You know how they go. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like I said, we need to understand and realize that this is an actual situation that we are facing as a people every day in this country. And until we come to our senses and realize this, especially instead of helping our over 400-year-old enemy oppressor, to keep perpetuating this by saying, a lot of them Negroes do deserve to be locked up because they wasn't nothing but criminals, they wasn't nothing but gangbangers and drug dealers and killers and this and that. Well, the hell, some of your people is in the penitentiary. I bet you might have somebody in your family that's doing time. So what make you any better than them by feeling that way? See, that ain't nothing but a part of that conquer and divide mentality. And they use that all the time on our people. And our people keep falling for it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this is why this is a continuing recycling, like I said, of what our ancestors historically knew. You see what I'm saying? And whether we want to recognize it or not, out here, you a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you ain't behind the prison or county jail wall, you a slave. You got to get up and do it 9 to 5. Don't get up and go to work and see what happened.
Right.
Your lights gonna get cut off. Your water gonna get cut off. They gonna put a eviction notice on your door. Then they're gonna have sheriffs at the door making sure when they hand out that eviction notice that you you comply. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So either way, you still all around. You still in slavery. That ain't no life. That ain't no life of a free people.
Right.
I don't know who in the hell told you that, but that ain't no life of a free people. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. You know, prior to European colonization and freedom, and slavery in this country,
mm-hmm.
and throughout the rest of the so-called modern world, you know, people did not. It wasn't really no such thing as you paying rent.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't no such thing as you, having to pay a light or gas bill. It wasn't no such. Ask the indigenous Native Americans, of this land. They didn't know nothing about that. You know, even if they did live in huts and stuff, you know what I'm saying? They didn't know nothing about that. That was not a part of existence in life. They didn't have to worry about that. Do you know the reason why a lot of us have high blood pressure, diabetes, and other pre-existing conditions medically? Is because, and even where they got us, on these psychotropic medications as well, is because of intense stress that we go through, having to try to live like a slave every day. Don't nobody in their right mind feel like every day getting up to go to work just so they could stay from out in the cold. You know, that's just like if you in the penitentiary and you don't want to get your butt beat by the guards or put in the hole. So what you do is you take your butt out there and get on that bus or do whatever they got you doing on the prison grounds, which is called the prison detail or whatever, but you gonna work. And in some states like the one I did time in, you're not gonna get paid for doing it. You said they ain't gonna give you a dime. You know, you should be able to at least get paid. Because a lot of people don't even got their people from the streets and nobody sending them nothing.
Nope.
Go on their books. So how you gonna make it other than hustle another inmate or somebody up in there to get your keeps? You see what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real, you know? So like I said, you know, at the end of the day, this is still a society that is embroiled with enslavement. This country was built on the principles of slavery, and this is the reality that we see based off that foundation to this very day in 2020. And unfortunately, it's looking that it's going to be beyond that too. You know, but like I said, you know, it's this is real, and I just really you know don't understand when dark-skinned people are so gonna get it through their heads. Their ancestors like Nat Turner, David Walker, Denmark First Bessie, you know what I'm saying, Gabriel Prosser, was willing to risk their lives in freedom so that they people, which is us, even in these later generations, wouldn't have to deal with this crap called slavery. But of course, because like you say, we want to lay around, enjoy, having our diplomas hanging off our walls, or our degrees hanging off our walls, you know, you know, sitting around, you know, in our lavish houses, or riding around in our lavish cars and stuff, enjoying our central air and AC and all that kind of stuff, you know, not thinking and realizing that do still stink. You see what I'm saying? Well, this is what we got. And if you get somebody like Trump who's more smarter the next time, we really done. He was just a preview of somebody with a little bit more sense that could be exactly just like him, but have a little bit more diplomacy and sense to come with it. But we'll definitely be done if we get that type of idiot, but a little bit more sense to it to go with it in the White House again. We'll really be done, especially as Black people in America. We will really be done. So this is why it is so important. You know what I'm saying? That we get this Mississippi campaign thing rolling, so that we can fulfill the inspiration of Nat Turner, fulfill the inspiration of Soul Brother David Walker, Denmark Vesey, you know, Gabriel Prosser, you know, and also those soul brothers and sisters during the times of chattel slavery, that in during one of those periods of that time that rebelled in the state of Louisiana. See, they don't know we have multiple historic, situations that took place in this country while people was willing to rebel, even as far as risking their life, risking getting hung, even with having our body parts decapitated, like in the case of Nat Turner, which I allegedly hear happened. You know, but like I said, we're gonna have to definitely, get this thing going, and also once we get this thing off the ground, just like those who turned Nat Turner over to slave master and revealed his plan, we're going to have to deal with people like that severely if we want to even make this Mississippi campaign successful. We're going to have to deal with people from among us severely that think like that, because they're dangerous to our liberation. So we're going to have to deal with people that think like that. Unfortunately, that look like us, but we're going to have to deal with them severely. Just like those brothers and sisters in South Africa used to deal with their people who went against them. But them racists over there during the apartheid era in South Africa. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to deal with the Negroes tortuously. We're going to have to start thinking like a people who want liberation. Or else we ain't going to never get it. And it's just that simple. You know, I remember someone telling me years back, you know, and it was a brother whose name, out of protection for protection of him and his family's anonymity, I would like to say this. And this brother here, you know, he was a religious brother, but he had a real revolutionary type of spirit about him as well. And may he also rest in peace, you know. But I remember he told me years ago back in my hometown, he told me, he said, and these were his exact words, and one of the words he used, I usually don't use, not even when I'm on the live podcast. I rarely use. But he said, and excuse my French, he said, niggas is scared of revolution. And that is definitely the truth. That is definitely the truth. We got to stop being scared of revolution, or else we gonna die slaves. Simple as that. We gonna die slaves. You know, we the only people on this face of this planet Earth, you know what I'm saying, that has never risen to the, to the forefront as far as gaining any real true type of liberation from our oppressor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even out of all other dark-skinned groups of people around this world, we the only dark-skinned group of people on the face of this planet here in the United States that has so far failed to do that because of our fear for the slave masters' children. It's out of fear. We fear them like you know what I'm saying? A cat feared a dog, a Rottweiler dog coming for him. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how much fear we got for the slave masters' children. Although we don't got no fear for each other, as you can see with the violence we unleash on each other every day in this country. We ain't got no fear for each other at all. But for them, we do. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I don't have no respect. This is why I don't have really nothing to even want to do with other people's soul, even based off of that fact. You know what I'm saying? Because we have so much fear for other people, but we never have but we don't have fear for each other. Like you was talking all the time about how when them crackers came down on the Nation of Islam, and the first thing they screamed was, you know what I'm saying, depend on the law to take care of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When it came to other black people, they didn't hesitate to take, you know, retribution, you know, or to resort to any type of retribution act. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, we need to understand that, you know, until we are willing to fight and die for our freedom, which ain't gonna never really be given to us, hey, then just keep on expecting to be called the N-word. Keep on expecting to get your head blew off because you're the N-word. Keep on expecting to get racially profiled because you're the N-word. To get discriminated against when it comes to housing and jobs. You know, to get deal with having to have your neighborhoods redistricted around or to be regentrified. You know what I'm saying? So other people could come and build and live more comfortably and overpopulate your neighborhoods. Because we won't come together to take control of a couple states where we won't have to worry about dealing with crap like that. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like I said, you know, we have to understand and realize that we are all we got, whether we want to accept it or not. And if we do not come to that realization, then someone will force us to. And the way they're going to force us to, it may be too late for us to do anything about it at that point. And I rest my mic.
All right. Got a newcomer on the platform. We got Get Up, Stand Up on the platform.
Is that Bob Marley? Oh, no. Is that the reincarnation of Bob Marley? No, I'm just playing.
Greetings, brothers. I'm so glad I found your channel.
I'm glad you did find us.
Yes, if I may make a statement and allow me to expound upon that statement based upon some understanding that you guys are giving out.
Okay.
I started my journey into where I am now with you guys, you know, learning the Egypt stuff, learning the Hebrew stuff. And I'm like, wow, these brothers are really smart. But when you look at them, no offense to the brothers I'm going to name, but this is just an example. Brother Polite is not going to liberate you. Young Pharaoh is not going to liberate you. Did Malachi York liberate you or did he hurt you? You see what I'm saying? what the brothers are trying to tell y'all is that you can learn everything in the world, but as long as you don't add liberation to your belief system or make it the primary belief, we ain't going nowhere. Now, I'm a younger brother. You guys are my elders, but I find myself in these conscious circles where I don't want to listen to nothing these younger brothers got to say because they don't feel the way that I do. They just want to learn facts so that they could be the smartest. They could be smarter than the other black brothers, but that doesn't appeal to me. What appeals to me is somebody that's smart enough to know that we need to be free. And that's why I'm learning more than ever about the Haitian liberation. I'd rather study the Haitian liberation and rather study Nat Turner than anything else I've been studying, because there's something that was inside these brothers called soul that knew that they would never find comfort in as long as we're under the domination of these people. So where do we go from here? It's unfortunate that there's not very many young brothers like myself that feel this way. They just want to study the books and once again be smarter than the other brothers. But being smart is not. Let's be smart later, because you don't got to be too smart to swing a sword. You just got to know that you got to swing it and when to swing it and who to swing it at. Now, an interesting thing about Nat Turner that I read about was, and I don't know if you heard this story, because you know there's all these stories about Nat, but one of these stories that resounded with me was that when they asked him who his leader was, he said it was Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And Jean-Jacques Dessalines, as we know, he didn't kill all the Frenchmen. He gave them a ship with guns and ammo and cannons and food and water and even money to have a safe voyage back to France. And in return, these same Frenchmen fired their cannons at the Haitians that just spared their life. Now, Nat Turner knew from the connection of the story that I'm telling, Nat Turner knew there is no mercy in this. The white man don't want to debate you and see how smart you are. The white man don't care if you could prove him wrong about everything in America. He don't give a damn. And really, that's why they invented the magical 3 numbers for the white man and white woman. 911. Come get this man away from me. He just shattered my reality. I done been there. I've been early on in my consciousness. I was studying and I'm like, wow, I'm not just a piece of dirt. I come from greatness, the soul man, the spirit man. And then I wanted to unite everybody, but that don't work. You could sit there and try to convert all the white people that you want from their ideology using factual information. They will sit there and tell you, wow, you're right. And then they'll go oppress somebody else as soon as they walk away from you. This thing is not for them. This thing is for us. Now, through my studies, this is where I'm at now. When I do deal with those people, I'm asking them for an honest perspective on how they view us, as in a sense through their own eyes. For example, imagine if they were the ones that were slaves for hundreds of years and we were the ones that were the oppressor. Would we look down on them the same way they look down on us? Would we see all of them as just a slave? And a lot of them were honest enough with me to tell me that yes, they do through their own eyes see us as less than a human, whether they wanted to believe it or not. We got to recognize this. There's a lot of these brothers out here that claim to be conscious and they claim to be activists, But really, they don't want the oppression to end because then they'd have nothing to talk about. Now, when we all hear about police brutality and all these murders popping up, some of us are working on our liberation, and some of us are oh, look, another death happened, let me drop a video on it. No, I get very disturbed when I'm working on my liberation and I hear about another brother getting killed for nothing. I'm an island boy. So what we say in the island is keep that fire burning, keep that fire blazing hot within you. And when it's time, you unleash it. I feel like, for example, people, I hope I'm not disturbing you, but what I'm saying is, if we were the oppressor and they were the oppressed, would they still love us the way we love them? Would they have ever loved us? Now, they're the oppressor and we're the oppressed. We got 400 years of history and science that shows they don't love us. Just look at the relationships. Now, my generation, okay, I'm 28. I'm gonna be 29. My generation, these relationships between a black man and a white woman. Now you see my generation of people are mixing with these people, but you don't, the white women that are mixing with us, they doing it where we at. That's why they try to act like all the negative stereotypes that we give up when we come into consciousness. They like the rap music. They're the ones buying all the rap music and all the damn rap tickets. They're emulating the negative stereotypes that we give up. And the most disturbing thing that I've ever seen in my life is going into, just think about it. Like sometimes our brothers need to, they say we living in the present, not in the past. But if they look at the current situation they in as if it was the past, man, are you going to go into the slave master's house and lay with his daughter? Have you lost your mind in the house? This is insanity that we going through. And when you point these things out, it shatters their reality. And then you might awaken a brother. But they find comfort. They find comfort in this slavery, man. Now, my particular story is my dad, he's from Grenada. Now, Grenada, they have been liberated by a man named Maurice Bishop and Fidel Castro. They liberated that island. And my family thought that my family had no idea about the civil rights movement in America or none of that. They moved here in the 70s. And they had no idea. I'm surprised they still alive with that type of ignorance. To be honest with you, I don't know how they made it. So they left me to figure out all of this mess by myself. And in turn, I've been through the prison system. I've been through all of that. I ended up starting a business. But still, they don't care. These people, our oppressors, do not care how much money you get or what type of status you get. Because when you enter their circles and they introduce you to other oppressors, they say, oh, this one's different than all the others. And my question is, what do they mean by that? I feel like the subject of the matter on Nat Turner, I feel like if that brother was living today, if he was living today and he was around all these conscious brothers, he would be laughing at them like, man, I can't even trust y'all.
Right.
I can't trust y'all. Y'all so caught up with being the smartest black man, but not the freest black man. That's just something crazy to me, man. And
absolutely, I agree.
But I'm good right now. I'm gonna fall back and listen to the elders for now.
Well, thank you, Get Up, Stand Up. I thank you so much for joining the platform. It was good to hear a fresh voice, on the panel. I hope that you can come back and join us on more occasions. I always like to put the link in the chat room, or if you can send me my email is in the description box of all my videos. You can send me your email address, and every time I get to go live, I can always send you a notice, and you can join the panel. Your voice is actually very refreshing. And I also want to thank Sister Deity. She had to leave for coming on the panel. So we had a nice panel this afternoon. I want to apologize to you. I can still hear you, brother, but I don't know if you've been following me, but I'm a little on the sickly side. I had a medical emergency I had to take care of, but I can still hear you talk. I was gone from the control room because I had something that was out of control I had to deal with. So yeah, I appreciate that. Now, before we close, I did want to just make a comment real quick on a couple of the things that you did mention. And you was talking about the Caucasian people and changing the position. What if you was the slave and I was the oppressor? How would they feel? Well, I mean, you can look at that very simply. I mean, the courts of law in this country is filled with people. What if they suing each other? Well, because they believe that somebody did them some kind of harm, somebody owed them some kind of money or whatever. I mean, the courts of law all over the country filled with people every day. What if I did this to you? It's the same concept. And the thing about it is that they already know that. You don't even have to ask them that question, because they already know if they was in our position, they wouldn't take it. Matter of fact, the history of this country shows that the people of this nation gonna pick up their guns and go for broke. That's what they done. That's how this country was coming to being, because they was under oppression. Like they felt they was under some kind of injustice, and they went to war and they died. See, that's the thing. They died and they sacrificed and they suffered to be in the position that they are in now. Here you are. You just want to ask them, are you willing to die? Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to suffer to put yourself up out of an oppressor's heel? If the word is no, they ain't going to sit your, I'm not talking about you personally, brother. They telling us, sit your happy ass down. Enjoy your damn biscuits and gravy we gave you. It's simple as that. I'm not interested in what you have to talk about. Show me you are serious. They had to show Britain they were serious about theirs. And Britain, because at that time, Britain was a world power. England was the #1 superpower at that time. Here's a fledgling nation, don't have an army, don't have nothing, and they dare stand up against this superpower. That's what they done. But they never put emphasis. They always act like they done it by themselves. They sent Benjamin Franklin as an ambassador to France and asked for France to help them because they had no navy. Could you help them fight this battle on the sea? So with the help of France, with the help of Native Americans and slaves, they won their freedom. And see, this is another thing that we get. We keep talking about us. Us ain't gonna get it. Us need allies. We need allies. Matter of fact, the United States right now have allies. Now, if the United States, as powerful as it is right now, if they need allies, what make you think you don't need an ally? I'm just gonna get all the Negroes together. Half of these, more than these Negroes, ain't even gonna try to help you at all. You need allies from different places. Find somebody that you can befriend with some power. I remember I was saying, if we could befriend somebody like China, they wouldn't treat us the way we did. Then somebody said, well, we would have to be communists. You don't have to be no communist if that's not part of, that's not the agreement that we made for this being an ally with this country. I'm not aligned with nobody with strings attached. I might as well just stay a happy slave right here where I'm at. Now I got two slave masters. China's not slave master, and these Peckerwoods here. It's not going to happen. But you need to align yourself with somebody. The Mexicans. Oh, I ain't lie no man. Who you going to align yourself? You cannot do this by yourself. Even the greatest power. What is up, young Pappy? What is up? Yeah, you did. You did. But, you know, if you want to come on and say a little something, you know, you can do that. You can do that. I'll hang on for you. My medical crisis is over. I can hang some more.
Hey, if I may, brother.
Yeah.
When the revolutionaries in America fought against Britain, they didn't have telephones. You know what I'm saying? So when the other countries found out that the Americans had overtook the British money was no longer good in the rest of the world until they sent a representative to show them that the Americans didn't just take over what we know as the United States, but they didn't just take over the entire, place of England and all the other colonies in itself. So they had to send other people by ships, by horseback, by carriage to the rest of the world to let them know that their money was still good. Now, if we were to liberate ourselves and take over today, the question is, who is coming to save them? Now, you just mentioned their allies. Now, all these places that have liberated themselves in the past have aligned with, for example, Grenada aligned with Cuba. And the Vietnamese, and they had strings attached. That's no doubt about it.
Right.
And that's why it's the way that it is now. Now, you made a very powerful comment. we might as well.
I didn't know that. I'm not known for making powerful comments.
Now, if we were to align ourselves with other people, and this is the only reason that I agree somewhat with these Hebrew camps, is because aside from their religion, they're uniting Native Americans and Hispanics to their cause. And they're saying that we have told our people for hundreds of years that God is going to save us, and this is just the way life is. And you could imagine it just even in Roots, like when Kunta Kinte met Fiddler was like, hey, this is just the way life is. When you die, you'll go to heaven, you know?
Yeah.
I'm one of the brothers I'm not willing to tell that to my kids.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm ready to die for this. And you're absolutely right that so many of our brothers are not willing to help us with this.
No.
They'll tell on us.
Yes, they will. Even the ones that's hauling all that power stuff, whatever, blah blah blah. They now. That's one thing I will not do. I don't care how much I disagree with your ideology or your beliefs. I'm not going to sit around if the government jumped on any of these brothers and sisters out here. I'm not going to sit back, enjoy, and happy that they put all the Pan-Africans in prison. They put all the Hebrew Israelites and the Moors. I'm not going to sit back and be happy because that happened. That is the enemy. That is the enemy. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be jumping for joy. Well, they out the way. Now maybe I can, maybe I can get some traction now. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works, because it's them today and you tomorrow. That's what happened in good old Africa. Those people there, first of all, those people in Africa do not see themselves as family. and they watched the conquerors slowly come in, made their little deals and whatever, and sit back and saw what was going on and did nothing, did not realize it's them today, you tomorrow. And it was this queen. What's her name? Oh, what's that queen, man? I forgot. It was a queen. I forgot what her name was. Anyway, she helped. It was some African queen. She helped. And then they turned around and took her out. And her brothers and sisters end up slaves, and she escaped her. I forgot what you probably know who that sister is. What? Come on, brother. You can help me out here. What's that sister name? Start with an N, I think.
Oh, Naya Bingi.
Nzinga?
Yeah, Nzinga. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And they took her out. But see, that's the same way. That's the same way it is right now. Those people on the continent don't care. They only care about each other, the leadership. They only care about each other. Then they don't see themselves as family. It's just, so we have to come up with a different way of looking at things. And I know people keep getting on my case because I always bring up about my own personal liberation from prison. But see, when I liberated myself from, it wasn't a prison, but actually it was a mental institution, forensic mental institution. It's really the same thing. Medium security. How is it medium security and I got rapists and murderers and killers with me? I thought I'm supposed to be with the people that's not supposed to be on that level. But anyway,
I got one more question for you. Now, remember when the American revolutionaries took over this country, there was no phone, so they had to let Britain had to let the rest of the world know that their money was still good with ships and horseback. So for all the brothers that only care about money, if we were to take over this country, the American money would no longer be good. That's the first thing that's going to go.
Well, see, that's a situation that my future people are going to have to deal with. I am promoting what we call the Mississippi campaign. I don't know if you know exactly what that is. And right now, it's simply
Operation Exodus Mississippi channel.
Right.
We'll learn all about it.
Yeah, and so that's simply taking control of a state, not dominating the state or whatever. Just taking control of the politics so that you can change the laws to benefit yourself. That's all it's about. It's not about kicking white people out of Mississippi. It's not about making Mississippi a Hebrew Israelite nation and all this old crazy. It's going to be this. It's going to be the same thing that we deal with every day and out, except one thing going to change. Now you can make the laws. You can make the policy. Now once you control a state, now you control the National Guard. You control the educational system. You control all the things that come along with the state. You get all the federal funds that a state's supposed to get, and you use it for your benefit for a change. Now, and then you begin to develop that state as you would a nation, and then as you are successful, if you're able to be successful in that endeavor, then your next thing is to take control of Alabama, Tennessee. We want to be able to control the whole South. We're not talking about dominating the United States, because that would be domestic terrorism. And we're not talking about domestic terrorism. We're talking about simply changing the situation to benefit us, giving us what we deserve as American citizens. Since you're not going to do it, then we need to find a way where we can do it for ourselves, whether you like it or not. That's where we stand. And so now, also, as part of the plan in the future, I would probably be dead and gone, but part of the future, and matter of fact, it's happening in small towns right now. You have small towns that have their own monetary system, so they can keep a lot of the money in their town longer than just they spend money, and more of their money, they make up their own money. People turn in their cash and buy the town money, and then they buy things, and they try to buy everything and the services within their own town. And that's the plan with the Mississippi campaign. If we don't grow tomatoes, we don't need to eat tomatoes. Everything that we do, it comes from our state. If Mississippi don't produce lobster, we don't eat lobster. If we don't produce it, we don't need it. And that way, all the service, everything that we get stays in that state, stays in our economy, and we get stronger and stronger and stronger. And we concentrate to keep our people out of jail, out of prisons, so we won't be spending all that money, thousands, millions of dollars on prison, taking care of some prisoners. We can spend more money on these programs to give our people skills. We don't have skills like we used to. You know, we need welders. We need people that know how to build highways. We need skills. So we need to put our people to work. We need people to know how to work the farm. Matter of fact, that's one of the #1 things I would like for us to concentrate on, since Mississippi is an agriculture state anyway. Concentrate on, and you need food. So we want to become the #1 producer of organic food, milk, meat, vegetables. And then not only are our people eating organic food, but we make organic food is a billion dollar industry, and we can take control of it. Just like Bill Gates basically control a whole lot of the computer crap going on, we can take control of the organic industry, and Whole Foods and all them people would be coming to us for their fruits and vegetables. And also we have an outside market, because real organic food has, bugs get to it and it don't look pretty. So we don't throw that away. You set that on the side and sell that also. And so nothing is never wasted. Absolutely. And my sister reminded me too. It's supposed to be a refuge, a state for our people, a place for us to come for any protection. And that's anywhere. That's why the Mississippi campaign has to be supported by the North, the South, the East, the West. If you get into trouble in Michigan and you know you're innocent, or whatever the problem is, if you can make it to Mississippi, Mississippi don't have to extradite you. The state of Mississippi can ask questions for the state that want you and say, hey, what you want this person for? They're going to have to make a case in order to justify us sending you back. Right now, there's nowhere that you can run and hide. There's nowhere that you can go. So we need a place, a refuge, a place. Look, the state of Mississippi, I don't know, it's not against the law to my knowledge. Why can't the state of Mississippi give loans outside of the state to other people? I don't know if that's against the law or whatever. So if you live in California and you need $500 or $1,000 to try to get a business going, how come the state of Mississippi can't loan it to you? Why it can't loan it to you? It's a lot of things that you could do once you control a state. Plus, it gives you the confidence to know that you can run your own nation. You can do your own thing, because that's what you're doing. Because a state in reality is a small country. All these states can run by themselves. They don't need the federal government. They all should be able to run by themselves. That's how they were set up. They all nations to themselves. It's really the United Nations of America, because that's really what it is. All these states are set up to be able to be self-sufficient and do their own thing. Yeah,
you're absolutely right, brother. Mississippi, for example, okay, so you got like these major food companies that distribute all through the United States, and they're rapidly using this thought that you just spoke on. They're getting rid of delivery drivers, and they're giving loans for territories to people that live out of state to start their own distribution company. So this is very legal. We could do that. And it's very interesting to me how we all basically used to be forced to be farmers, but we can't farm anymore. If we get that skill back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You need that. You need to eat. And you need to eat good. We keep eating all these different chemicals and whatever. I want to be able to produce my own food. I want to be able to go and look at corn and look at cows and say, look, that's mine. And you know how it was raised. You know how it was, how it was produced. I want to be able to do that. I want people to come to the state of Mississippi, and no matter where they go. And see, the main thing is in order for all this to be true, we cannot have the mind that we have right now. Right now, we have this slave, Negro, selfish, arrogant ass type mind. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So,
hey, brother, if I may,
yeah, go ahead.
When we were specifically chosen by these slave traders, we were specifically chosen because they could have went and got slaves from anywhere else. They could have got slaves from Europe. They could have got slaves from Asia, but they specifically chose our people because we were farmers. We were cultivating the land, and they classified us as cattle. So it's almost like, okay, you know how they're using all these apps and all this stuff to automate these things now, registers that could ring themselves up. They had us as cattle animals that could work a farm. So they got a cow. A cow could produce milk, but you got to go and get that milk. You got all these different animals. You got all these different crops, but we were classified specifically as cattle because they wanted us to be looked at as animals that could automate a farm.
I'll tell you something else. The main reason I believe, I don't know, that melanated people were chosen for this task of slavery more so than anybody else. Yeah, sister Young Pappy said it's also because we was the most resilient. That's true. But also, when you're in the business like this, you don't want a rebellious animal. You want one that you can beat and make tame as quick as possible. You cannot make all animals pets. They try to do it. You can't make all animals pets. Some animals refuse. They'd rather die. You're not going to make me no pet. You're not going to make me no slave. There are animals, if you put them in the zoo, they refuse to reproduce. They're not going to do it. You got me in this zoo, and I'm going to be the first and the last. They're not going to reproduce in the zoo. They're not going to do it. What they found with melanated people is that you have no problem being oppressed and whoop you a little bit and you'll bow down and submit. And you'll spit them babies out like rabbits, like you're doing right now in 2020. Spit them out. And these pro-black folks justify by saying, I'm building my own nation. Negro, you don't have no nation. You know, that's just like saying a bird. Birds build nests first before they put eggs in it. You talk about you build a nation. You got to build the nation first, then you put the eggs in it. Then you spit the babies. When you spit babies out, living with your slave master, with the oppressor, your babies benefit you, the oppressor more than they will ever do you. And you can teach them black power. And just like you and me, I can holler black power and we can talk about comedic all we want to. Our lives, as long as we live under the domination of these people, our lives benefit them way more than it benefit ourselves. And that's just a fact, whether you like it or not. You can holler black power, and that's I'm different. Negro, you ain't different. You pay taxes if you're working. You pay taxes. You doing that 1040 every year, and you pay and you paying those sales tax every time you buy something. No, you are a slave. And so the thing about the Mississippi campaign, give me a chance to benefit from myself. And I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing they can do that can stop us if that's what we want to do. The only thing stopping something like that is ourselves. Because we have a slave-like mentality. And actually, to be real, I believe a lot of us are very scared to go on our own. Because if we go on our own and you mess up, you can't blame the white man no more. You can't talk about the white man conspiracies and all these type of things. No, you can only blame yourself. There's nothing they can do to stop you. Next thing you know, you control Alabama. Next thing you know, you control. And then when the president come up for re-election, now your vote counts. Now you got power and influence. Now you got some power and influence. When you talk in Africa, now you got power and influence. Now Africa will really listen to you, take you serious. Matter of fact, you will be taken serious all over the world. And not only that, you pull this off, people around the world like, how the hell did some Negroes that snort crack all damn day long and weed and, you know, all these old stereotypes that they got for us, how the hell did them Negroes come out of that and now they control 6 or 7 states? Right, sister. Sister Young said, and to start benefiting from our ancestors' inventions that the government capitalized on and sold for trillions of dollars to this day. See, as a state, you can sue and have a better chance of suing the government as a state. You know, we doing this little stuff as little organizations and stuff. You have no real clout. But as a state, now you got some backup. But you know something, I wouldn't even trip off that stuff because I got a whole, you know, I'm very creative. I've got a lot of imagination. They can take that stuff and stick it up their butt. I got a whole lot of stuff, whole lot of things I got in my mind that we could do and really be rolling.
Hey, that's right. And that's why when they tried to make Caucasians and Asian slaves, they especially in the Caribbean, when they went and found Indians, they didn't want to be a slave. They refused to be a slave. They would rather die. Yeah. They had to offer them what they call indentured servitude so they would get something out of it.
See?
And look at them Irish. Them Irish, don't let them tell you they were slaves. That's a lie. They was indentured servants, and they got free transport here, and they got free land.
Yeah. Actually, they sold the slaves out because, matter of fact, it was an Irish person that told me about it for the first time. He said, my people sold your people out. And he sent me some information. I'm like, wow, you know, because you know, the Irish was considered, they was indentured servants, but they was considered white slaves, but they wasn't. And they got treated horrible. It wasn't a beautiful existence. But the white slave and the black slave was coming together, and they had a nice relationship going. And the oppressor was like, okay, this is not going to work. You know, if they get together like this, we're gonna have a problem. So they used division. So they decided, well, they do look white like us. Let's make them white, because you know the Irish wasn't considered white. Let's make them white and give them some freebies. And we'll tear this unity between the slaves and these crazy ass indentured servants. We'll tear that unity they got going on. And that's what happened. They sold us out.
Yeah, and another interesting topic on that is how the Irish weren't considered white. But when Indian people from India started coming over here to America, I forget what the case law is, but they had to fight for each other in a court of law to be classified as Asian because they were classified as white. A lot of the accomplishments and financial statistics that come from white people was actually coming from Indians, because right now you see they one of the top earners in the country.
That's true.
We gotta find a way to classify ourselves. Okay, this is how I look at it. Even though I might not agree with some of these other weird movements that they have going on, like the LGBTQ and all that, identifying this and identifying as that. Yeah. Hey, if they could pull that off, we could identify as what we really supposed to be.
That's why.
But these Egyptologists don't want to identify as the soul man, as the original man. We should be, when we check a box for a job application, we should be able to have a box that says original man, child of the sun.
That's why on this platform, I feel as though soul brothers and sisters, soul people, soul man, soul woman, is the best label and identity because it has nothing to do with race. It embraces everything. No matter where you come from, the only requirement is, are you a descendant of slave, born in America? Was your people once called Negro? That's all. It don't make no difference if you Kemetic or you think that you came from Egypt or whatever. It don't make no difference. Now we're under one umbrella and we move forward on one foundation. And also, what I love about soul brothers and sisters, it take us out of the race crap. So I can talk about white people or whoever as hard as I want to. They cannot call me a racist because I'm not saying I'm not black. I'm not talking that black stuff at all. So how you gonna call me racist? I just said my foundation is not black. And the simple definition of race is supposed to be a racism is supposed to be one. A race is one who believe that their race is superior to others or something like. Well, I'm not into race. I'm into tribe. I'm into nation. This is my tribe. This is my nation. So see, so you give your enemies less ammunition to mess with when you do that. But when you talk black power, the first thing they're gonna do is say black identity extremists, they full of hate, all the, try to do the reverse on you. But see, they can't do that with me because this platform, we don't do that here. We don't talk about how superior my melanated skin is, and I got a third eye and all this kind of stuff. We don't talk about that here. And
hey, you're right. You're right. I like that approach because when you go to some of these other platforms that they like to speak on black issues and stuff like that, but they don't want to be free, like you said. If you start to say anything about white people, they will turn against you. They'll be, oh, my kid's white, this and my girl is white. So you're absolutely right, and I'm glad you said that because it gives me a different avenue to go down.
Mm-hmm. Also, you got to look at who you're dealing with. Our people, this group of people that we're from, they're not really interested in all that black power stuff. They feel it's outdated and they're not interested. Nobody in my family talks about they don't talk about no Pan-African, they don't talk about Africa. They just want to live a life. That's all. So if you want to be successful, you got to go and deal with people from the mindset that they are at. If you want to try to change them into what you believe they should be, you're going to be waiting a long time because and plus it's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. We are diverse. I respect you, brother, for who you are. I respect Sister Young for who she are, Brother Taalik. You can say and believe whatever you want to. If Brother Taalik say that he drink monkey juice so he can feel smarter, I'd be like, okay. Hey, if that would make you feel good, I'm not gonna sit around and, brother, you drinking monkey juice, well, drinking monkey brine. I don't care. If that would make you feel comfortable, then okay. But see, the thing about it is, are we on the same page? Do we want liberation? Do we want to get off the plantation? Because again, all this stuff that we talk about don't mean nothing while you're still a slave on the plantation. It don't make no difference. What if
brother, you're absolutely right. And I'm gonna jump off after this. Okay. I'm gonna just be in the crowd. But when it's my age and I'm dealing with people my age, I have to come at an angle when looking for allies where they cannot have any cracks in their armor. So the condition that we're in America right now, it makes it very hard for me to find allies of people my age, because they might be speaking on the same things we do, and then soon as they stop speaking about it, they'll be listening to a song about black people killing black people, and I'm like, oh man. So I have to when I find my allies, they find me to be very hard on them. Yes. But I'm not really hard on them. I feel like I got to just be able to trust them. They can't have any cracks in the armor. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. I believe me. I understand where you're coming from, especially coming from this direction we talk about. We talk about a new mindset, a new strategy, a new way of looking at things. I'm not saying that we cannot use some of those things, because all of it can be used. The Nation of Islam is good at what they do. You know, getting people together, organizing. Why can't that be used? Why can't that be used? You know, all these disciplines have a place. That's what I'm telling everybody. But put everything under one umbrella. That's all I'm saying. Just like you got these big corporations. You got like, for instance, I think Pepsi owns Kentucky Fried Chicken and Taco Bell and things like that. They all under one corporation. They all under one corporation. You know, under Pepsi or whatever, PepsiCo, whatever. Taco Bell, all and Kentucky Fried Chicken, they all doing their own little thing, whatever. But it's all for the benefit of PepsiCo. When PepsiCo do good, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Taco Bell do good. It's all the same family. We don't view ourselves as family. These people have an oppressor situation. Yes, sir. These people have an oppressor mindset. They think the same way as the racists, and we're not going to get anywhere thinking like them. And they always use the white man as an example. Well, the white man do this, and the white man do this, and the white man do that. Why are you using the white man as an example? White man don't have nothing to do with none of this. But see, all that pro-blackness is nothing but reaction and emotional response to white supremacy and racism. And so they think like them. And they think if I do the same thing the white people did, I'll get the same results. That's what's wrong with Africa. They think if they do what the white man did, they'll get. Why you want to be like the white man? I don't understand that. We want to do something different. We want to do something that's not only beneficial to us, but it's going to be beneficial to humanity. And on that note, I want to thank the brother for joining us. Get Up, Stand Up. I want to thank him for joining us. Thank you to my sister Young, for being in the chat room. And if Brother Talib want to say something real quickly to take us, and go ahead and close the meeting out if you want to say something, Talib.
Yes, brother. First of all, yes, I'd like to also say thanks for the brother for
yes,
tuning in, because I have been around in my lifetime different other groups of dark-skinned people, and when he mentioned his Caribbean, background, it made me think back on how our liberation struggle started in this country, even during chattel slavery, like he mentioned. That Turner got his influence from the Haitian Revolution. And pretty much that's how our slave rebellion in this country kicked off, was because of the influence from the Haitian slave rebellion. And also, we have to also give credit to where it's due, because if it was not for Marcus Garvey, may he rest in peace.
Yes.
You wouldn't have no such thing as pro-black or pan-Africanism in the United States. So, we must give credit to where it's due. Now, with that said, I must say that, we have to definitely think and act like a free people. Black freedom. If we don't want freedom, then continue on being a slave. What was said on this live podcast, that's all I really could just say, if you want to remain a slave, then keep subscribing and catering to the system.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to also point out something too, like what you said about regardless of you owning your own business, where you got to still pay the white man taxes and stuff, well, you got to pay him taxes just to keep your business going.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't own the business.
Right.
He's basically the owner. So, I mean, we got to think. When we even say stuff like, well, we need our own businesses, we need our own farmland, you got to pay taxes on that farmland.
Yes, you do.
We take control of the state of Mississippi. We ain't got to pay no damn farm taxes to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to land, especially when it comes to growing our own food.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we have to, realize that this situation here, we got to keep it in the real, pure reality perspective. When we even say certain things and put certain things out there into the universe, when it comes to talking about liberation,
mm-hmm.
because we could get these certain things mixed up with something that's not reality, and next thing you know, we going downhill again, when we supposed to be headed straight to the path of liberation. See, so we have to understand that we cannot confuse this with anything else. And if someone disagrees with what someone says, we could come together and figure it out and see why they disagree. And if it's some, like the brother said, if it's some cracks in our armor, then we can tighten it up
right
then and there,
mm-hmm.
and keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so that's what's happening with that situation, and because we don't have time to be getting caught up with all this back and forth rhetoric, and debating about how we must attain liberation. Let's attain liberation, and then we'll think about that later when we work on maintaining on how we gonna keep our liberation. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what that situation is, and with that, I'll bow out and let you close us completely out of this situation.
All right, I want to thank everybody. This actually turned out to be a pretty nice live stream. Much better than I thought it would be. And it's not because of me, it's because of all of you, all my 10 subscribers, those in the 5 in the chat room and 5 who listening. I appreciate your being here. I thank you so much. Thank you for donating to my medical fundraiser. I appreciate it. I'm speechless at the help I have received. I also want to thank you on behalf of Sister Noble, those who have purchased her book, God is on Trial, those who will purchase her book later. We thank you very much. And also, in just a few weeks, a week or so, I want to be able to talk with us. And the topic that I've chosen for what we call Soul Liberation Day is taking destiny in our own hands. That's December the 7th, 2020 at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. And I might not make any more videos until then. I'm not sure. This was spontaneous. This topic just came up and I just wanted to speak on it. But if you don't hear from me until then, hopefully nothing happened to me. I'm just going to be quiet until December the 7th, 2020. And hopefully I have a real nice speech for us, lecture for us, for Soul Liberation Day, 2020, December the 7th, 2020. Soul Liberation Day 2021, December the 7th, 2020 at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, right here on this channel. So on that note, let me get out of here. Endless thanks. as Don Cornelius always used to say, as important, I wish us love, peace, and soul. We are the 5,000.